Is the best the easiest? And is the easiest the best when it comes to starting Amazon FBA from scratch? Hey everyone, Chan here. In today's video, I'm going to give you my perspective as a seller on these two videos here. Best way to start Amazon FBA from scratch by Travis. And this video, the easiest way to start Amazon FBA from scratch by Jets. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Now both are excellent videos about starting Amazon FBA, but I'm gonna dive a bit deeper and compare the two videos and give you my honest perspective that you need to know when starting Amazon FBA. But before I begin, I just want to highlight that both videos have different perspective, which is good because as a beginner or someone that's looking to start a new business venture or perhaps just a side hustle, you really want to know both sides of the story. So hopefully with my perspective, you can have a better understanding as to which is the easiest or the best way to start selling on Amazon. With that said, we'll start with Travis's video. Now Travis starts by saying the 3 ways of selling on Amazon, which is arbitrage, wholesale, and private label, are just not a good business model because there's not enough margin, too much competition, and overall just not a sustainable business. Now before I talk about what Travis suggests is the best way to start Amazon FBA, I have to say I disagree with Travis a bit, that arbitrage, wholesale, and private label is not sustainable. Having done all 3 and still doing all 3 as of today, I can honestly say that all 3 are 100% sustainable if you understand how to truly implement them. For example, if you're doing arbitrage, which requires you to consistently find products either at your local retail store or online, but if you understand the process and how to find these products, you can go ahead and hire a virtual assistant or train someone to go out to your local retail store and find these products for you. Just train them on how to use your method of finding product. This is how successful sellers are able to run a sustainable business when trying to do arbitrage. And if you search online, there are hundreds of sellers that are extremely profitable, whether that be arbitrage, wholesale, or even private label. Now getting back to what Travis suggests is the best way to start selling on Amazon, he suggests going with crowdfunding sites like Indiegogo. And if you guys are not aware, it's just a platform for people to put up their ideas about a product and then go ahead and raise money to build that product. Now I don't have much experience with this method, but what I can say is it is a great idea to launch a product, especially with no money up front. And also with this method, it validates the product demand already by selling the idea first and raising money to build it. But like I said, I'm not too familiar with these crowdfunding sites on how they operate, what the initial fees are, or if there's any profit sharing after you launch. So I really can't speak too much on this matter. However, Travis's method still involves product research, which is analyzing keyword demand from Amazon and seeing if there's a possibility of filling that gap with a product that's not currently being met. Regardless of the method you use to find or launch your product, it's still a form of private label. You still have to create the product with the brand name, the logo, and the listing. Now let's talk about Jet's video. Jet starts off by saying there's 3 different types of product: arbitrage, wholesale, and private label, which in my opinion is not necessarily a different product, it's just a different business model, as I mentioned earlier. Off the bat, Jet stated that private label requires you to create the product and do the marketing as well, which is why he does not do private label at all. And this is 100% true. When you're doing private label, you have to create that product from scratch and then leave room for advertising expense. Yes, advertising expense, in my opinion, is one of the most crucial aspects missed by new sellers on Amazon. Most new sellers doing private label believe that all they have to do is to create the product, list it on Amazon, and then start getting sales. This may have been the case years ago. However, with the rising competition out there, it is definitely not the case anymore. And to ensure your success when doing private label, you gotta set aside a good amount to run advertising when you're launching a private label product, to ensure that your product is showing up at the very front page of that search results when customers are searching for it. Jets goes on to say because of this, he stays away from private label and solely focuses on arbitrage and wholesale. Now this aligns with me more as well because this is how I started selling on Amazon. Jets also mentioned when doing arbitrage and wholesale, it doesn't matter what the product is or even what the category the product's in, as long as there's product demand and profit margins. Then this model is definitely sustainable. And pretty much this is the method that I stand by as well, that arbitrage and wholesale is the best way to start selling on Amazon. So now that I went over both videos, it's clear that both have different perspective when it comes to the easiest or the best way to actually start Amazon FBA. On one side, we have Travis, who is all about coming up with unique ideas and then validating that idea with crowdfunding to build that product, which essentially is private labeling. Then you have Jets, who is against private labeling because of all the upfront work you have to do, from creating the product to budgeting advertising expense after you launch. However, in this case, I have to say I align with Jets more. Not just because this is how I started on Amazon, but because after doing all three, I can say that selling on Amazon does have a learning curve. And majority of that is with private labeling method. So in my opinion, if you cut out the product development, the listing creation, and the advertisement of selling on Amazon, and solely focusing on finding profitable products, then your chance of success when selling on Amazon becomes much greater. Because you're reducing the amount of friction, the amount of stuff you need to learn. And as a beginner, this can be a bit intimidating. So, however you think is the easiest or the best way to do something, solely relies on how you may interpret that. I know for me, the more steps I need to take to do something, then typically the more roadblocks and headaches down the line. Let me know in the comments below which method you found was the best or easiest way to start Amazon. Before I go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you found some value out of this so I can continue to create more content like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.